Alrighty. Since I'm not here, I made a screencast for you to go over the Artistic Brownie Lab. This is one of the favorite labs of the semester, so I wanted to give you I wanted you to hear it coming from me rather than just a piece of paper because I feel like it's easier. Okay, so what makes this lab a little bit different than the other ones? Well, one, it's a competition. This is our first real competition where we have judges coming in. So the judges are going to score the overall look of your dish. They're not going to taste your brownie, so don't worry about people stealing it. You're going to get to eat all of it, I promise. But it's a competition, so remember, you want yours to look the very best that you can possibly do. Another thing that makes it a little bit different is that everyone's final plate is completely different from one another. Everyone starts with the same basic brownie, but then you can use a bunch of different items. On the recipe, it lists different things like caramel, chocolate sauce, various fresh fruits, whipped cream, powdered sugar, cocoa powder, all that stuff. But everything else needs to be brought in from home. So that's one of the things I kind of wanted to remind you guys about. So if you want to serve ice cream on top of your brownie, which is something that's very, very common, make sure you bring that in from home. And then what you need to do today, with the sub, is you need to complete your yellow lab plan as usual using the linked recipe on Schoology or in the email. And then you also need to complete the presentation sketch. That is a piece of paper that you will get from the sub. They will hand out to you, and that needs to be stapled to your lab plan. I repeat, that must be stapled to your lab plan. Okay? And then the techniques used. So on your presentation sketch, you're going to kind of plan out what you're doing, how you're going to present your plate. So are you going to draw flowers with the chocolate sauce? Are you going to make hearts? So remember, think back to the thing that we did last week where you guys kind of got to play around with different techniques. You do like plate dusting, apple carving, all that stuff. You need to incorporate at least 2 of those techniques. So on your presentation sketch, you need to include those 2 techniques. So that can be plate dusting. That can be plate painting. That's like a tongue twister. So you need to put 2 of those things, and you can use more if you'd like. So again, by the end of class, you need to turn in your lab plan with the stapled presentation sketch with your techniques on there. These are some examples. So these are from my class last semester. I changed it up because I thought that they did awesome, so I totally changed this presentation. Maybe I'm a little biased, but as you can see, they both are awesome, but they're completely different. That's what kind of makes this lab fun. They both use hearts, as you can see, so that's another thing. Remember, we have all these cookie cutters that you can use. You can make your brownies any shape or size that you would like. Okay. The group on the left obviously used ice cream, so that adds a totally other element. If you take a look, you can see the focal point. So what do you want your eye drawn to? That's what you need to think. What do you want the judges to look at? Okay. They're 2 totally different things, but both are correct and both are right. These are 2 more. Love these. Both of these use the plate painting technique with the caramel and the chocolate around the outside. And again, different focal points. So we have little owls on the right, just like a little mountain with some chocolate and ice cream on the left. Totally different, but both perfectly fine and great. These 3. So again, totally different. Look at the plate selection. We have a different plate, but for their purpose, they wanted to serve 5 brownies. That is the perfect plate to serve it on. Okay. See, it just offers the audience or the judge, the customer who's ever eating the brownie, a different way to look at it. This one over here, the bottom right, this was actually the winner last semester. Look how simple it is, but look how pretty it is. That is actually something that you would see in a restaurant. 100% that is a restaurant-ready item. Okay, so remember, less is more. You're going to hear me say that about 7 million times, but less is more. You want to think of something that you would see in a high-end restaurant. That's what we are aiming for. Research. While you're planning, don't just be a bum and just pick something super simple to get it done and out of the way. You want to win, okay? So use things like Pinterest, use things like Google. If you've ever heard of it, Google, and just Google things like awesome plate presentation, beautiful plate presentation. You're going to come up with amazing ideas. Even maybe be more specific and do pastry plate presentation. You're going to get a ton of awesome examples, and it's totally okay to steal other people's ideas. Again, you guys are in culinary basics. You're not pastry chefs yet, so I don't expect you to be coming up with everything on your own. It's totally okay to borrow ideas from others. Just some things to remember. They kind of all go with one of another, but think outside the box. You want your plate to look nothing like the person's next to you. Okay? Think about plate selections. We have a variety of plates that you can use. You can bring in things from home, different colors, whatever the heck you want. Your plate really affects the overall look of your dish. Third one, what will make my plate stand out from others. Do something different. Use a different shape of cookie cutter. Use a different fruit. Use a different technique. Do something different to make yours better. And finally, less is more. Don't overcrowd your plate. Don't put a bunch of chocolate syrup drizzled, dolloped on top. That's not what you'd see in a restaurant. Do exactly we want restaurant ready dishes. Okay? So remember, by the end of class, you need to have your completed lab plan with the plate presentation technique or plate presentation plan, and then your techniques listed. Okay. Next week, we are doing French toast on Monday, Tuesday, and then we are doing brownies the rest of the week, and the competition is actually on Friday. So have a great weekend. Don't miss me too much, and give some high fives out for me. Bye-bye.